Good morning. This is retired Pastor Karl Schmidt from Calvary Lutheran Church, the Lutheran Church in Amherst, New York. We welcome you to this fourth Sunday of Easter of 2024, April 21st. And the text this morning is from the Gospel of John, the 16th chapter, verses 16 through 22. A little while, and you will not see me, and again a little while, and you will see me, because I go to the Father. Then said some of his disciples among themselves, What is this that he's saying to us, a little while, and you will not see me, and again a little while, and you will see me, and because I go to the Father? They said, therefore, What is this that he said, a little while? We do not understand. Now Jesus knew that they were wondering and wanted to ask him, and said to them, Do you inquire among yourself of what I said? A little while, and you shall see me, and a little while again you will not. Truly, truly, I say to you, that you shall weep and lament, but the world shall rejoice, and you shall be sorrowful. But your sorrow shall be turned into joy. A woman, when she is in travail, has sorrow, because her hour is come. But as soon as she is delivered of the child, she remembers no more the pain, for joy that a child is born into the world. And you now therefore have sorrow, but I will see you again, and your heart shall rejoice, and your joy no man takes from you. Here ends this portion of the gospel text. Now, there is an idea in this text that is really quite wonderful, and someone like little Gussie or Bubba perfectly illustrate it. They're comfortable. They're happy. They're playing, dragging their little cart here and to and fro, and that's actually the idea, the fact that they're comfortable. They're not cowering or hiding in fear because their world is being turned upside down by missiles or bombs or something. But they know that mom and dad are right nearby, or dad's. And in this case, that is the important thing. Being comfortable around our dad. And that's what Jesus is trying to tell the disciples in this text. Because up to this point, they've known Jesus. And this is 16th chapter of John, so it's been some time. They've been with him, seen him do things, and they've heard him speak comfortable words to them about someone called the Father. And that's the whole idea here. It's why Jesus tells them about Dad. Because before, religion to them meant a bunch of do's and don'ts. It was a code of morality. And religious authorities exercised this rule over them that was cold and brutal and had nothing to do at all with religion. That's the craziest thing. The religious authorities were very busy, but I'm not sure with what, pure nonsense, frankly, because the rabbis were more involved with, for instance, if a woman had a cracked pot, a clay pot, could she use it to cook dinner? She'd have to go to the rabbi and find out. And he might say, no, you have to use a stone pot. Your clay pot with a crack in it is not suitable. And then you have all sorts of rules about it. Hundreds of pages of rules about this. And it's in a document called the Mishnah, the oral law, which is well over 1,000 pages thick. And since the days of Moses, that was the code of ethics. It was the do's and don'ts. It was the rules. And religion for a lot of the people had become, especially the higher ups in the church, had become nothing other than do's and don'ts. When in fact religion has nothing to do with do's and don'ts. And that's going to sound weird coming from a pulpit. Religion has nothing to do with do's and don'ts. And you'd say, well, what about the law, the 10 Commandments? And my response would be, even the 10 Commandments are not properly God's intent for us. Let me explain this to you. You have a 2-year-old, or let's say a 1-year-old. Let's say a baby of 6 months. Go back further. A baby of 2 months, 1 month. A newborn in your arms, in mother's arms, or dad's arms, and just and that's the extent of the intellect and content of the conversation at the moment. Hungry. And that's all that goes on. Now, can you set up a whole bunch of rules for a baby that's a week old? Now, baby, here's all the list of things that you must do and the list of things you must not do. And the baby looks up at you and goes, "Blah." You understand that the 10 Commandments are that, right? You understand that there's never been a single human being who has ever done a single one of the 10 Commandments. Let me say that again more plainly. You, nor I, have ever followed and done a single 10 Commandment. You know why? Because like giving complicated directions about an iPhone to a week-old baby, we are neither capable of understanding what the 10 Commandments are or even imagining their execution. We're not capable. If you have a broken record player, tell you how old I am. If you have a wow, not even CD player.
You have poor internet and your streaming is buffering.
Okay, so if you have poor internet and your streaming is having trouble buffering, wow, I'm going to go back to a 45 record. Yeah, you can't just give it commands that it can't do. I mean, when I was in high school, we had this Texas Instrument calculator. It could add and subtract, multiply and divide, and I think it could give you a square root. And that was it. It couldn't do anything else. And it didn't have a digital display. It had little red lines, little tiny bulbs that lit up in a square figure 8 pattern. That was it. Well, you no matter, you could beg and plead with that thing unless it was an add or subtract and multiply and divide or a square root. That would give you no information. It would just sit there and stare at you. It had no capability whatsoever. Whereas I could ask my iPhone, how do I get to such and such store? And I'll go, is this the one you want to go to? I'll say, yeah, that's it. And it'll say, okay, get on your bike and start riding. And it'll get me there. Like a newborn, giving directions from an iPhone or about an iPhone, useless, pointless. God giving us the 10 Commandments was only to show us that we have no idea what the 10 Commandments are, much less being able to do them. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind, with all thy strength. Okay, so which one of you has ever, even a single time, done that? Anyone who's actually imagines they've ever done that, even once, even partially, hands up. You put your hands up, I'll throw a hymnal at you. Because that would be stupid. He gave us the 10 Commandments to do one job. To say, look, dummies, you guys can't even imagine right and wrong, much less do it. You're broken toys. You're toys without batteries. You can't function. You can't do any of this. And they took the 10 Commandments and go, oh, okay, so, well, I haven't stolen anything today. I kept that one. I haven't killed anyone today. I kept that one. No, you haven't. No, you haven't. Did you render unto everyone everything that was owed them? No. Did you ever dislike someone? Yes. Then you've stolen and killed. And even when you attempt, it's like going the speed limit. Do you want to? No. You got a car that can go almost 100 miles an hour. You want to put it down and floor it. You want to pretend you're on the Autobahn. Some idiot on the Autobahn recently was going almost 270, 280 miles an hour and laughing and kidding around and went airborne and turned into a sardine can. I don't think they ever found the bodies. Just gone. Because he had no idea what he was doing. And since there's no speed limit, technically he was keeping the speed limit because there isn't one. But he turned up to be just a red spot on somewhere in a field. They actually didn't even find the parts. Just gone. And so us, compared to the Ten Commandments, we look at that and we go, oh, I know what stealing. No, you don't know what stealing. You don't know what killing is. You have no idea what these... And to love the Lord... Where are you going to do that? Where are you going to walk up to him and go, hi, God. Boy, I love you, God. Oh, love, Lord. Love, 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 love. That's nonsense. That's pure garbage. You don't even love each other. How can you love God? Stupidest thing I ever heard. The Ten Commandments were never given to be followed, in other words. You can't follow something you don't understand and cannot do. Cannot do. Not don't want to do. You can't do them, much less even understand them. So what's left? What's left in religion? Well, it's what's right here. Because I go to the Father. That's Jesus saying, look, I'm going to Dad. You're all coming to Dad. So let me tell you a little bit about it. Here you are in the world, and for a little while, it's rubbish. I get that. I've been in the world 65 years. I get that. One shoe falls, and you wait for the other one. And then that one falls, and then the third one falls. You go, hey, God, that's not fair. 2 shoes, 2 feet, right? And then he throws another one at you. He goes, ha, 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 ha. Because God has a great sense of humor. And so the point about not seeing him for a little while was, yeah, he was going to be dead for a little bit. And then they would see him because he was going to rise from the dead. But that wasn't even the important thing because, A, I don't understand that part. Do you understand what it means for the Son of God, true man and true God, to die? No, of course we don't. How can we understand that? Much less how can we understand that he's dying in our place and that the eternal weight of the Father's wrath is what he's dying under. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? Okay, so if we can't even understand that, what's the bit we can understand? Well, just like a 2-year-old or a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old, they can understand when mom or dad goes, oh, come here, do you have a bad day at school? Come here. Let's go over to the candy jar. Let's see what we can find in there. That looks good. Let's start with that. Want to watch a movie? Let's plop down and watch a movie. But I got homework. Skip the homework for now. Let's just watch a movie. Forget it. Let's just have fun. You see, kids understand. Even the littlest kids understand the arms of mom and dads. And that's what Jesus is here saying. Religion is about the arms of our dad. Nothing else. I'm a dad. I'm a grandfather. I babysit. And I know that when the little ones come and they're all distraught over God only knows what, usually I don't have any idea because sometimes they can't talk. All that's important is that you put your arms out and you just give them a hug. And you pick them up and you go, you want a mookie, Baba? Uh-huh. Want juicy, Ba? Mm-hmm. Want cookie? Mm-hmm. Because they're all cookie monsters. And that's enough. That's enough. And that's what religion is. It's Dad who we don't understand, who we're going to meet, because Jesus, our brother, is going to take us to him. He says so. And there we'll live as family forever. With no illness, no injuries, no disease, no nothing. Just good times. Just pizza and beer. Which sounds really good here, because right now I'm not really supposed to have either one. So this is what religion is. It's not about do's and don'ts, because frankly, you've never done either one. You haven't done what you're supposed to, and you have done what you weren't supposed to. That's it. Period. No excuses allowed. But on the other end, mercy, grace, kindness, God has shown his kindness to everyone. It's done. Are you saved? Yeah. All done. Who did it? The Father, Dad. And he still puts his arms out around you all day, every day. Dad's with you all the time. That's religion. That's what the church is here to teach and preach. So, that's it. That's it for today. Because I go to the Father, ton patera, ton patera in the Greek, to Dad, the Dad. So that's what's important. So if you want to share religion, it's not about do's and don'ts. It's just about Dad. And it's good. He's happy. He's actually smiling, and according to Psalm 2, he's laughing. And that's a nice dad. He's not grumpy. So, okay, that's it. Amen. End of the sermon.